Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, welcome, dear devotees on YouTube and Zoom, to ISKCON Columbus's Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today's class, today's bhajan will be uh, Navagauravaram by Sachisut Astakam by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So let me just share my screen, and I'll sing only each verse once so that we have time. Parama Hare Krishna. So we will read the translations of this wonderful song. So I can start off with number 1. Number 1. His complexion is the hue of fresh cream tinged with kumkum. He's the ever-fresh Cupid who shoots arrows of newly blossoming flowers. He bears newer and newer moods of emotional ecstasies. He is fond of performing novel dances. He makes ever new jokes that cause much laughter. His brilliant luster is like freshly cast gold. I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of Mother Sachi. Anybody want to read number 2?
He is endowed with ever-fresh love of Godhead. His radiant luster is like the color of fresh butter. His fresh attire is arranged in ever-new fashions. He relishes ever-new mellows of love for Krishna. He shines in ninefold new ways while executing the ninefold processes of devotion. He is permeated with permitted with the most auspicious loving nature. I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of Mother Sachi.
Anybody want to read number 3? He is absorbed in devotion to Sri Hari. He maintains the chanting of the names of Hari. While chanting, he counts the holy names on the fingers of his hands. He is addicted to the name of Hari. He always has tears of love welling in his eyes. I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of Mother Sachi. Number 4.
He is always removing the suffering of material existence for mankind. He is the goal of life for persons who are dedicated to their supreme interest. He inspires men to become like honey bees, eager for the honey of Krishna Prema. He removes the burning fever of the material world. I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of Mother Sachi.
Number 5. He motivates pure devotion unto himself. He is the most attractive to his beautiful servitors. By his dramatic dancing, he exhibits the characteristics of the king of paramours. He causes the minds of beautiful young village women to dance. I bow down to Gora, the beautiful son of Mother Sachi. 6.
He plays kartals as his throat emits sweet melodious sounds and the vibrant notes of the veena are softly played. And he thus inspires the devotees to perform dramatic dancing that is infused with aspects of his own devotional service. I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of Mother Sachi.
He is accompanied by the Sankirtana movement, which is the religious practice for the age of Kali. He is the son of Nanda Maharaj, come again. He is the extraordinary, brilliant ornament on the earth. His preaching mood is suitably adapted to the cycle of birth and death. His consciousness is fixed in meditation on his own form of Krishna. He is always accompanied by his transcendental abode. I bow down to Gora, the beautiful son of Mother Sachi. 8.
His eyes, the soles of his feet, and in his clothing are reddish, like the color that heralds the rising sun. As he utters his own names, his voice falters. He awakens a sweet flavor to life throughout the universe. I bow down to Gora, the beautiful son of Mother Sachi.
Hare Krishna, Srila Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya ki jai. So, if anybody has any reflections on this song, they may say it now. It's a very beautiful song. Before the most beautiful day. Today's the day before Gora Purnima. Does anybody have any reflections?
Prabhu, do you want to share something about the author of this bhajan, Sarvabhauma
Yes.
Bhattacharya?
Yes, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was a great philosopher of his day. we're actually about to start. We're not about to start. We're in the next chapter. Our family is doing reading of teachings of Lord Chaitanya. As we know, teachings of Lord Chaitanya is a compilation by Srila Prabhupada about 5 great conversations that Lord Chaitanya had. So one of them was with Rupa Goswami, one was Sanatan Goswami, one was Prakashananda Saraswati, one was Ramananda Roy, and one was Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So he was the greatest scholar of his day, and he was very into Nyaya in different philosophies. And what happened was that he got Lord Chaitanya came to him, and then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, "I will speak Vedanta to you." And then Lord Chaitanya heard him for like 10 days straight without asking a question. And then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya finally said, I don't think you have understood, because a person who doesn't ask a question either understood everything or they have understood nothing. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was very perplexed with what he had seen, so he was very, very disturbed. And then Lord Chaitanya said, there's no problem with the Vedanta, but it's the explanation of the Vedanta. So Lord Chaitanya explains to him, and then Sarvabhauma went to go and pray to the goddess of learning. And the goddess of learning said, because he got defeated by Lord Chaitanya, and then the goddess of learning finally said, that actually my knowledge comes from Lord Chaitanya, from Gauranga, from Krishna. So you better surrender unto him, because I'm trying to surrender unto him as well. So Sarvabhauma, he was a philosopher who got turned into a devotee of the Lord. And he a lot of these songs, Sachi Sutastakam, and there's some extra one, Sarvabhauma Shataka. All these songs are actually written by him, and he was considered the greatest scholar of his day. So we are very that's why he has such beautiful compositions. Everything is a rhyme. If you look, Satatam Janata Bhavatapah, everything is ending with Gatim,
Yeah,
Haram,
yeah,
Varam, Charutam, Kaukulam, Karam, Varam, Ravam, Mudaram, Maduram, Karam, Varam. So it's kind of his Sanskrit expertise in how he is doing it. So does anybody else have any reflections on this song?
I like the fact that the dramatic dancing. I love that.
I also like that his preaching mood is suitably adapted to the cycle of birth and death. Today we have the monthly Sankirtan festival. What a great meditation, that our preaching mood should be suitably adapted to the cycle of birth and death. So it's not just that we're trying to go around birth and death again. We're actually trying to get out of the loop. So I really like that, Kajal. Thank you. Anybody else have any last reflections? Going once, going twice, sold. So we will pause our study of the songs of the Vaishnava Acharyas for this week. We will continue next week. We are very excited to have His Grace Kartikeya Prabhu with us after a long time. Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept our obeisances. All glories to Prabhupada. We are so excited to see him, and we are very honored to have him in our association. And he has spoken on the group before, and I really love his class. So I'm really hoping. I was really looking forward to this. That's what I meant to say. So I will give a small introduction for those who may not know about Kartikeya Prabhu. Kartikeya Prabhu currently serves at the ISKCON Whitefield Temple just outside of Bangalore. And he has done his master's in microelectronics from BITS Pilani. So formerly as his preaching service, he was an e-counselor for the big website ISKCON Desire Tree. We hear most of our lectures from ISKCON Desire Tree. So he was an e-counselor, which basically he would answer a lot of questions of the youth of India and many other people who are just in the basics of Krishna consciousness, who may not have as much Sangha in their location. So say, you're in a very remote location. There may not be an ISKCON temple, but you can still be in the counselor system through this e-counselor system. So he solved a lot of those questions, and he was introduced to Krishna consciousness by His Grace Amarendra Prabhu, who has come to Columbus many times, and his family. And he serves many people from around the world and from different backgrounds by answering their questions and supports them on their Krishna conscious journey. So it is now 8:04 a.m. on the East Coast of the US. Prabhu will speak for about 45 minutes to 1 hour. And after that, we'll have some question and answer session. And like this, the program will go on. So Prabhu, you can take it over from here. Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining us.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances. It's really very humbling to get an invitation again from ISKCON Columbus congregation. Now, to be very frank, my lectures are not so great, but then it goes on to say that you people have a lot of taste for hearing. So you can hear Krishna Katha from anyone. So I'm really blessed and honored to be part of such sincere congregation. So let us start today's session with Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarobhishya Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mokam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Giri Yatkripatam Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tatho Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So we are reading from Canto Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 5. Pro, can you make the co-host so that I can share my screen?
Yes, you should be able to share your screen now.
Yeah. So this is Canto 1, Chapter 5, Text 29. So today we're going to study from text 29 to 31. So let's chant the shloka. Tasyaivam menuruktasya prashritasya hataina saha shraddadhanasya balasya dantasyano charasya cha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. I was very much attached to those sages. I was gentle in behavior, and all my sins were eradicated in their service. In my heart, I had strong faith in them. I had subjugated the senses, and I was strictly following them with body and mind. Purport. These are the necessary qualifications of a prospective candidate who can expect to be elevated to the position of a pure, unadulterated devotee. Such a candidate must always seek the association of pure devotees. One should not be misled by a pseudo devotee. He himself must be plain and gentle to receive the instructions of such a pure devotee. A pure devotee is a completely surrendered soul onto the personality of Godhead. He knows the personality of Godhead as the supreme proprietor and all others as his servitors. By the association of pure devotees only, one can get rid of all sins accumulated by mundane association. A neophyte devotee must faithfully serve the pure devotee, and he should be very much obedient and strictly follow the instructions. These are the signs of a devotee who is determined to achieve success even in the existing duration of life. So, text 30, translation. As they were leaving, those Bhakti Vedantas who are very kind to poor hearted souls instructed me in that most confidential subject, which is instructed by the personality of Godhead Himself. Text 31, translation. By that confidential knowledge, I could understand clearly the influence of the energy of Lord Sri Krishna, the creator, maintainer, and annihilator of everything. By knowing that, one can return to him and personally meet him. So thank you very much for giving these verses, very, very intense verses, very wonderful. So before I start speaking, I would like to seek blessings of all of you all. For last 2 months, I was on Mount Vrata. I was not allowed to speak. No, it was some throat problem. Vocal cords were not proper. So now, just last Sunday, I started giving the sessions. So I request all of you all to please shower your blessings so that I can serve you all nicely by repeating whatever I've heard from my superiors. So what is the background of these shlokas? Let's try to understand. So Narada Muni, he comes to Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva has written all the scriptures, all the 18 Puranas, all the Upanishads, and all the other Vedic scriptures which we know, Itihasas, Aranyakas, etc. And Narada Muni comes there and starts glorifying Vyasadeva. Oh, Vyasadeva, you have done such an amazing work, and so on and so forth. He just glorifies. That's how this chapter, that's how this canto and chapter starts. And then after that, Vyasadeva, hearing the glorification of himself by his to-be spiritual master, Narada Muni, he started telling the truth that, oh Gurudev, I've done all this, but I'm not satisfied. I'm not satisfied. I don't know why. Please enlighten. And Narada Muni starts speaking. Chastises first. When a disciple surrenders, the first thing that the Guru does is he'll do the chastisement. So he chastised very nicely, saying, except for glorifying Krishna, you have done everything else in these scriptures. You have glorified the Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha more than the pure devotional service. That is the reason you're not satisfied. And after this, speaking all this, Narada Muni started speaking about his past life. So as this is, I'm sure this is covered in the Srimad Bhagavatam study that you all are going through. So Narada Muni was the son of a maid servant and very, very humble. and obviously maid servants, sons of poverty stricken as well. But then one very good thing happened. Pure devotees, the Bhakti Vedantas, arrived in the life of Narada Muni. And when they came to that place, Narada Muni's mother, as a maid servant, she was serving these great souls very nicely. And Narada Muni was assisting his mother in the service to the Bhakti Vedantas. And that's what Narada Muni is telling here, in this particular section that we are seeing today. So Narada Muni is saying that what happened when the Bhakti Vedantas were about to leave. So Narada Muni was taking the remnants of these Bhakti Vedantas, pure devotees. Very nicely it is said in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and even in the other scriptures talking about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, there are three Mahabal, the three great strength of a devotee. Vaishnava Pada Dhuli, Vaishnava Pada Jal, Vaishnava Uchishte, Tini Mahabal. The great strength of a devotee, which helps the devotee to march towards the ultimate goal of life, are these three. Vaishnava Pada Dhuli, that is the dust from the lotus feet of a pure devotee. Second, Vaishnava Pada Dhuli, Vaishnava Pada Jal, the Charanamrit, the water that has washed the lotus feet of a devotee. And third, Vaishnava Uchishte, the remnants from the plate, the Maha Prasad of the pure devotees. And here Narada Muni was so fortunate. He got this, the third Mahabal, that is the remnants of these pure devotees. And Narada Muni, he's saying that just by having the remnants of these great souls, what happened? Many great things happened in my heart. My heart got transformed. I had complete faith on these Bhakti Vedantas. And when they were about to leave, they gave me instruction. And by their mercy, I was able to realize Lord Sri Krishna and his energies. This is what is the section talking about. And Prabhupada is giving amazing purport in this. If we just study, in fact, just one, I was thinking to take only one purport, that is text 29. But then, we'll try to summarize the other two also. This one purport of Srila Prabhupada, that is of text 29 of 5th chapter, 1st canto, it actually talks about how can we become pure devotees? How can we attain Krishna this very lifetime? And Prabhupada's purports are so wonderful. They are very poetic, firstly. And the second thing is, it's step by step Prabhupada clears. How can we actually break the cycle of birth and death? How can we become pure devotees? How can we attain Krishna? Very, very clearly Prabhupada is giving. And in this one purport. Let's try to see this now. Now, when it comes to the purports which Prabhupada has given for the other two verses, let me cover that first. So Prabhupada is talking about most confidential knowledge. So Narada Muni says that they gave me the most confidential knowledge with the Supreme Personality of Godhead gave to various personalities. So that most confidential knowledge Prabhupada is talking about in the purport to text 30. Now we know that in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is talking about most confidential knowledge. Guhya means confidential. Guhya Tara means more confidential. Guhya Tama means most confidential. So if we take Bhagavad Gita, if we analyze the chapters of Bhagavad Gita, we understand that from chapter 2 to 6, it is called as Guhya, confidential knowledge. And there, Lord Sri Krishna is talking about knowledge of matter and spirit soul. So very clearly, in various chapters and various verses, Krishna is clearing this concept of matter and spirit. Then comes Guhya Tara from text from chapters 7 to 8, these two chapters, 7 and 8. Krishna is giving more confidential knowledge. He starts talking about bhakti. He starts giving knowledge of bhakti. He describes his various energies. Then he starts giving the knowledge of bhakti. And then in the middle chapter, in the entire Bhagavad Gita, the middle two chapters are 9 and 10. And especially in the 9th chapter, Krishna is giving Guhya Tama, the most confidential knowledge. He's talking about Kevala Bhakti, one-pointed devotional service to Lord Krishna. And especially the verse which is repeated again in the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakto, that particular verse, which is a very, very important verse for a sadhaka. So that is called as most confidential. That talks about Kevala Bhakti. In this purport, I would like to share my screen and show that what Prabhupada is saying in this purport. Very, very amazing. So look at this. Text 30, purport. So here Prabhupada is giving a different angle to understand about confidential, more confidential, and most confidential. Here we go. Jnanam means ordinary knowledge or any branch of knowledge. This knowledge develops up to the knowledge of impersonal Brahman. So whenever we say jnana, when it comes to the transcendentalist, the group of transcendentalists or the circle of transcendentalists, when it comes to jnana, we are actually talking about the difference of body and soul. So the jnanis who are aspiring to attain the impersonal aspect of the Lord, that is the Brahman feature, they are very much well versed when it comes to the difference between the matter and spirit. Then Prabhupada is saying here, above this, when it is partially mixed with devotion, what are we talking about? The jnana, the knowledge, when it is partially mixed with devotion, such knowledge develops to the knowledge of Paramatma or the all-pervading Godhead. So in this, what happens is, when the person starts meditating on the form of the Lord, that comes in the dharana, dhyana, samadhi aspect of Ashtanga Yoga. So there, the person starts aspiring to attain the Paramatma feature, to realize the localized aspect of Krishna within the heart, that is Paramatma. So that is more confidential, because from the impersonal aspect, now the person or the transcendentalist has gone one step ahead, and now he started meditating on the form. That is Paramatma feature. Then it is said, but when such knowledge is turned into pure devotional service, and the confidential part of transcendental knowledge is attained, it is called the most confidential knowledge. So here, it's very clear. Prabhupada is talking about the pure devotional service to Lord Sri Krishna, Kevala Bhakti. So whatever Krishna has spoken in Bhagavad Gita as most confidential, the same thing Prabhupada is repeating it here as Kevala Bhakti, one-pointed devotional service to Lord Sri Krishna. And in the next purport, that is text 31, Prabhupada talks about the three energies of the Lord. So all of us are also into that one of the category: internal energy, external energy, and marginal energy. Internal energy, or the Ladini Shakti of the Lord, or the internal potency of the Lord, Srimati Radharani or Yog Maya Shakti. So internal energy is something which pervades or which maintains the entire spiritual world. The external energy of the Lord, that is the Maya Shakti, the Mahamaya Shakti. So that Shakti or that energy of the Lord maintains this entire material world. And then there are some energies who are nor in the spiritual sky nor in the material sky, or nor in the material world. They are somewhere in between, and they are marginal potencies. And we all are the Tathastha Shakti, or the marginal potency of the Lord. In this way, we understand that Krishna has these three energies, and he works through these three energies. This is a very, very important point, which Prabhupada repeats again and again, in various lectures of his. Right? And we have option. As Tatastha, we have option. Either we can go to spiritual side or we can go to the material side. This free will, Krishna has given to all of us. And the great souls who are there, the realized souls who are there, they always take shelter of the internal energy of the Lord. Krishna is telling this in Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter, Shloka number 13. He says, Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakritim ashritaha bhajantya ananya manaso nyatva bhutadim avyayam. So here he's saying the Mahatmas, the great souls who are there, they take shelter of whom? Of the internal potency of the Lord, internal energy of the Lord. I remember one Prabhupada's pastime, one disciple came to Srila Prabhupada, and then he told Srila Prabhupada, sometimes I fall in Maya. What should I do? Please give me some solution. And Prabhupada looked at him and he said, actually, most of the time you are in Maya. Sometimes you fall in Krishna. This is what is our condition. We are sadhakas, we are baddha jivas, we are stuck in the cycle of birth and death. We don't know when this happened, but we are stuck. We are in this, this is what is our situation. Most of the time we are in Maya. we are an illusion. And sometimes, by the mercy of devotees, we fall into Krishna, Krishna consciousness. And if some devotee, some sadhaka, suppose some sadhaka wants to cross this Maya Shakti, cross this Bhavasagara, is it so easy? Let's try to understand this. Because the great souls, they have set an example that we have to take shelter of the internal potency of the Lord. We have to take shelter of Srimati Radharani. And we are Gaudiya Vaishnavas, and we are supposed to take the shelter of Srimati Radharani. And the great personality, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, whose Avirbhav is tomorrow, whose appearance is tomorrow, that is Gaura Purnima. So this great personality, he came, who is Krishna himself, with the bhav of Srimati Radharani, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahi Anya. This personality came just to teach us how to take shelter of Srimati Radharani. What is the mood of Srimati Radharani? How to feel that separation from Lord Sri Krishna and do devotional service. Mahabhav Swarupa, this is what he wanted to show to all of us. That's a different topic altogether. So the great personalities want to attain that state. But when it comes to we sadhakas, is it so easy? Is it so easy to cross this Bhavasagara? Is it so easy to overcome illusory potency of the Lord, the external energy of the Lord? Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, I think 7th chapter, 14th shloka. He says, Daivi hesha gunamai mama maya duratyaya mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. So here Krishna is clearly telling in Bhagavad Gita, you people cannot do it. He's telling all the Baddha Jivas, all of us, you people cannot do it by yourself. Why? Suppose we ask Krishna, why are you saying this? We are your energy. We are your Tathastha Shakti. We are one in quality with you. Achintya Veda Veda. Krishna is clarifying for all of us. Daivi Hesha Gunamai. This external energy, which is Gunamai, which is having the three modes of material nature as prominent, she is very, very strong. Mama Maya. She's my Maya. She's my external energy. And you know what? She's my sister. She has to be as strong as me. Mama Maya Duratyaya, very difficult to overcome her. But then Krishna is telling, he's giving us a solution. Mam eva ye prapadyante. Krishna is very, very possessive about those personalities, those sadhakas who want to attain him. So he makes it very clear. He says, Mam eva ye prapadyante. You surrender on to me. Mam eva ye prapadyante. If suppose we have a question, okay, if I surrender on to you, what are you going to do? Maya metam tarantite. I will help you to cross this Bhavasagara. I will help you to cross the cycle of birth and death or the illusory potency of my own. So in this way, we understand that it's very difficult for a sadhaka or for a Baddha Jiva to cross this illusory potency of the Lord, the external energy of the Lord. Let's try to understand more deeper, into this particular concept. This is my personal meditation, which I'm sharing, and also which Prabhupada speaks in various lectures and also in various purports. Let's try to understand our current situation, how much bound we are. Because only when we understand our current situation, we can actually do that. Prapadyante, we can actually surrender to Krishna. First point. See, when it comes to our situation, we are actually bound, completely bound. By what? By three modes of material nature. That is Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna, and Tamo Guna. We're actually bound. Yes. And this we can easily see in our day-to-day life. We are completely bound, even when we want to do devotional service, even when the mood, even when we are fixed that yes, I want to do devotional service. But each and every day, it's different. It's not that every day our devotional service is enthusiastic, with full of energy, very, very intense. Some ups and downs will be there. Why? Because sometimes the ignorance takes over. Like this happens when this ecstasy comes when we are chanting. When we are chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra early in the morning, 5:30 to 7:30 in that slot, complete ecstasy, where we completely enter into the eternal pastimes of the Lord by closing our eyes, completely getting into the mode of ignorance. Yes, so much of sleep. Reading Srimad Bhagavatam. A few of my students here who attend my sessions, they were telling very, very innocently, they're new and they're practicing Krishna consciousness, just started practicing. They were telling very, very innocently, they said, Prabhuji, whenever I'm not getting sleep at night, you know what I'm doing? I found a solution. I was eager, what do you do? And the few devotees were sharing that, Prabhuji, actually, we start reading Bhagavatam and we start chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Automatically, we get sleep, Prabhuji. Yes. This is what is our current state. We are bound. We're completely bound. See, we hear so many classes. Now, I was just meditating about myself. We hear so many classes about anger, about lust, and this and that. But still, when the time comes to execute that, theory remains theory. It doesn't come into practice. Why? Mode of passion takes over. And when things are going well in our life, the mode of goodness takes over, and we are happy and satisfied for some time, not thinking much about intensity of devotional service. It's up and down and up and down. It's like a sinusoidal wave all the time when it comes to devotional service. Yes. We are bound. Even if we want to do devotional service, we are bound. We are caught up very badly, isn't it? Next thing, is our past samskaras. When it comes to our past samskaras, we understand. When we close our eyes and say, we want to think about the lotus feet of Krishna, Prabhupada is very clear, in the purports. He says that anyone who meditates on the form of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Tribhanga Swarupa of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that personality will never fall down. And this is what is the statement, that Prabhupada has written in one of the purports, the third canto. So when we close our eyes, more than the lotus feet of the Lord, we'll remember someone else's feet or someone else's face or someone else's form. Why? Because of past samskaras, maybe past life or our experiences of this life and so on and so forth. Many people complain that while chanting, my mind goes here and there. I start thinking about my past. I start thinking about the future. All this is because of our past samskara. Can we imagine? The devotee is ready with the bead bag, and the ignorance takes over, passion takes over, and he's caught. He's not able to focus on the holy name. And when the devotee is trying to chant, past samskaras are popping up. The past memories, all that is popping up. And he's completely engaged in that. Yes, completely engaged in that. So, three modes of material nature are binding us. And then the second one is the past samskaras are binding us. And prarabdha karma is binding us. Our prarabdha, sometimes, unfortunately, when the health issues come up, when monetary issues come up, I mean the financial crunch, or anything which deals with this gross body, that is prarabdha karma. That's just coming because of our past deeds, and that acts as an obstacle. That acts as an obstacle on the path of devotional service. So this is a meditation which all of us can do, that even when I want to do devotional service, even when I want to practice pure devotional service, why I'm not able to do it? Whenever we talk about devotees, I always have a strong point that every devotee in ISKCON is sincere. Every devotee. Yes. Maybe that devotee might not be practicing bhakti intensely. Maybe that devotee might get angry. Maybe that devotee might be lusty, whatever it is. But every devotee is sincere, trying their best to do their sadhana. But you know what? These things are actually holding that devotee back, holding all of us back. We want to march towards Krishna, but someone is pulling. We might have seen in some cartoon series or whatever, that cartoon character wants to run and someone is holding the shirt from behind or t-shirt from behind, and he's just at the same place. He's trying to run. He's not able to move forward. That's what is our current situation. And what is our goal? Prabhupada says, this very lifetime, we have to go back home, back to Godhead. Attaining Krishna, that is the goal of life. And that to this very lifetime, Prabhupada says. In another place, Prabhupada in the lecture, he says that my spiritual master says that don't take chance of next lifetime. Finish the Krishna consciousness business in this very lifetime. So we're talking about attaining Krishna. Yes. So we understood our position. Now let's try to understand Krishna's position. So the ones who are interested, you can read the purport to text 31. and 30, where very nicely Prabhupada is describing about the supremacy of Krishna. But here, let's talk about, is it so easy to attain Krishna? Is it so easy to attain Krishna? Gajendra, when he was caught by the crocodile, after struggling a lot for many, many celestial years, calling out for help from his family members who were standing on the shore, all of them tried helping Gajendra, the elephant. All the male elephants, they started pulling Gajendra. They couldn't do anything. They just left the place. Then the wives of Gajendra, they started pulling Gajendra out of the water, but they were also unsuccessful. Only thing that they were doing, standing out and just lamenting at the situation of their husband. At that time, Gajendra, by the mercy of Supreme Personality of Godhead, he started calling out for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Very wonderful section. That is 8th canto, 3rd chapter, the Gajendra Moksha prayers. So in that, we'll see different sections. And there are sections where Gajendra is talking about his own condition, his own situation. And he's talking about how great the Supreme Personality of Godhead is. One of my favorite verse, that is Shloka number 6. Yes, Shloka number 6. Gajendra is saying, Nayasya deva rishaya padam vidur jantu puna korati gantum iritum yathanatasya kritibhir vicheshtato duratyayanu kramanas samavatu. So he's saying that Mamavatu, please protect me, O Lord, please protect me. When it comes to you, Nayasya deva, he's saying the devas cannot understand you, the demigods cannot understand you. And then he's saying Rishaya padam vidur, the great rishis cannot understand you. And then Gajendra is saying, Jantu puna korati gantu meritu. How can this Jantu, how can this animal understand you, O great personality? This is a very nice point to meditate on. And one of our acharyas comment on this particular verse, saying that that Jantu which Gajendra is talking about is we, human beings, all of us. How can we, if demigods cannot understand, who are the managers of this entire universal administration, if rishis cannot understand, who own mystic powers, what about us? How can we understand Krishna? How can we attain Krishna? Dhruv Maharaj, when he attained the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he was offering prayers. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 22 and Shloka 42, it talks about this. The Shloka, very, very famous Shloka, which Dhruv Maharaj is telling the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He says, Sthana abhilashi tapasi stitoham. O Lord, by the desire or for the hankering of a great land or the great kingdom, greater than my grandfather, Sthana abhilashi tapasi stitoham. I did tapasya. And then he's saying, Tvam praptavan deva munindra guhyam. He's saying, now I've attained you. And who are you, O Lord? Who are you? You are guhya. You're confidential. You're very, very rare. Even to whom? Even to the great demigods, even to the great rishis. So Bhagavatam is very consistent. In different prayers, very, very consistently, it's given that it's very difficult to understand Krishna. It is very difficult to attain Krishna. But then, as sadhakas, our goal is to attain Krishna. Narada Muni attained Krishna. How? That's what is the discussion which Prabhupada is giving us in purport to text 29. Very, very important purport. I would request all of you all, even after this class, if you can read this purport multiple times, many, many jewels will come out. Many, many jewels. And many, many wonderful realizations we will get. Yes. So here, Prabhupada is giving various pointers and various steps to attain Krishna. Let's try to discuss that. Now, when we're talking about pure devotional service, we're talking about Kevala Bhakti, unadulterated devotional service. No tinge of karma, no tinge of jnana, no tinge of any other desire. Anya bhilashita shunyam. Completely zero, no other desires. Only desire is to attain Krishna. So how can we get that desire? How can we become a pure, unadulterated devotee? How can we render Kevala Bhakti to Lord Sri Krishna? Let's try to understand this. If someone is asking this question, that, okay, you're talking about pure devotional service. Can you tell me why should I do pure devotional service? What will I get by doing pure devotional service? Nowadays in Kali Yuga, this is the first question when people ask, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? Why should I do pure devotional service? Very, very clearly it's given in Bhagavatam. It says that just by doing pure devotional service, that is apratihata, I'm not getting that shloka. Savai pumsa paro dharmo yatho bhakti radokshaje ahituki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. So anyone who is doing apratihata ahituki bhakti, uninterrupted and unmotivated devotional service, such a person will be completely satisfied within. This satisfaction everyone is searching, including devotees. Completely satisfied. Yayatma suprasidati, completely satisfied. And so it is very important for a devotee to aspire to attain Krishna this very lifetime. And here Prabhupada is giving steps. You can refer to the purport. First thing Prabhupada is telling here is, first step, what Narada Muni did and what we have to do. Prabhupada is instructing. Always seek the association of pure devotees. We have to hanker for the pure devotees, association of pure devotees, perfected pure devotees. What is the definition of a pure devotee? Very, very clear. Prabhupada writes in one of the purport. Pure devotee is the one who has attained Krishna, one who has seen Krishna. That personality is a pure devotee. Yes, there's no doubt about that. And sometimes devotees ask, what should we pray to Krishna? This is what we have to pray. In various prayers throughout Bhagavatam, this one prayer we will see directly or indirectly it is included. I want the association of your own pure devotees. Various personalities, be it Vritrasur, be it Prahlad Maharaj, be it anyone, throughout the Bhagavatam, this one prayer is there that please give us the association of your pure devotees. And you know what? Getting association of a perfected pure devotee who has attained Krishna is extremely difficult. Extremely difficult. In Bhagavatam again, another wonderful shloka, it says, Durlabho manusho deho dehinam shanabhanguraha. It says that this body which is there is durlabha. Very, very durlabha. Very, very, very rare. Durlabho manusho deho. This deha is very rare. And it's saying dehinam shanabhanguraha. This deha is shanabhangura. Anytime we can lose this body. But then there's another line which says, Tatrapi durlabham manye. But what? Tatrapi durlabham. But even greater or even the rarest thing that can be achieved is, rarest of the rare that a person can get is what? Vaikuntha Priyadarshanam. Those devotees who have attained Krishna, their association is even more rare. We cannot get the association of pure devotees so easily. So this point has to be understood, that only if we get association of a perfected pure devotee, we can actually attain Krishna, or else it's very difficult. Why? Because we're bound. The three modes of material nature are binding us. Our past samskaras are binding us. Our prarabdha karma is binding us. Yes. And because of that, we, by our own endeavor, we cannot attain Krishna. Very difficult. Only when other person, some other great personality comes and cuts the knot, the knot which is actually binding us, if he comes and cuts that knot, then it is possible that by his mercy, we will be pushed to Goloka Vrindavan, or else it's not possible. In Narada Muni's life, Bhakti Vedantas came, and in our life, one Bhakti Vedanta came. Can we just meditate on this point? Jadi Prabhupada na hoito tabe ki hoito jivana bahita ki. If Prabhupada wouldn't have been there, the Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada wouldn't have been there, what would have happened to all of us? At least now, we are at least coming together and discussing the Amala Purana, the Srimad Bhagavatam, which does not have even a tinge of impurity. If Prabhupada wouldn't have been there, there's no question of discussion of all this. Saturday evening, at least I would have been somewhere else doing something nonsense. Yes. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, because of whom we have got this opportunity to at least discuss Srimad Bhagavatam and dare to discuss about pure devotional service, dare to think about attaining Krishna this very lifetime. All glories to him. Yes, all glories to him. So seeking the association of pure devotees, this is what is a very, very important search in a devotee's life. As soon as he attains a pure devotee's association, now 50% of the job is done. 50% of the job of attaining Krishna is done just by getting association of a pure devotee. Then Prabhupada gives the next line, next step. He says, himself, that is a devotee, must be plain and gentle to receive the instructions of such a pure devotee. He's very clear. See, we are praying for the association of a pure devotee, but then now the question is, will my ego allow me to accept a pure devotee and take his shelter? Right? Unfortunately, we are very, very minute. Balagra shata bhagasya shatada kalpitasya. We are very, very minute. 1/10,000th tip of the hair is our size. But when it comes to the ego, we can distribute it to the entire creation. Will that ego allow us to take shelter of a pure devotee? This is a very important meditation now, which we sadhakas can have. That somehow or the other, I want to become simple. Somehow or the other, I want to become plain in my behavior. That's what Prabhupada is saying. We have to be plain and gentle. Because when we are simple, when we are gentle, when we are humble enough, pranadapi sunichena, what happens? We are ready to receive the mercy of a pure devotee. See, praying for a pure devotee is one thing. And second, becoming qualified to receive that pure devotee in our life, that is another thing. So both of them will go together. One is Krishna's mercy, Krishna's sanction, wherein he sends a pure devotee. And second is our endeavor now to become simple, to become humble in our attitude, in our behavior. After doing all these two, what we are supposed to do? Prabhupada says the third thing. After we get the association of a pure devotee, serve the pure devotee. Serve the devotee very, very faithfully. This is a very important point about service, which Prabhupada is talking here. See, one thing is clear, that only when we serve someone, and if that devotee is pleased in his heart, and when he is joyful within his heart, seeing us, seeing our service, that devotee will shower his blessings onto us. Only when his blessings flow, only when his mercy flow, we can actually experience what that devotee is experiencing. Sometimes, I'm sure all of you might have had this experience, that when there's a senior devotee, very exalted in his devotional service, when that devotee gives a class, when that devotee does a kirtan, and when we are there in that assembly, when we are there in that association, automatically we feel some different experience altogether. Maybe for a few moments, maybe for a few minutes, but we feel some different experience. Why? No, because we are experiencing what the devotee is experiencing constantly. Now we are experiencing something little, from that constant experience of the devotee. Minute experience we are getting, right? So when that devotee is pleased with us by our service, what happens? He blesses us with that quality or with that experience what he's experiencing, right? So this is a very important point, which Prabhupada talks about: service, service, service at various places. Serving a pure devotee, serving a pure devotee, serving a pure devotee. And suppose we are not qualified, say, and we don't get a pure devotees association, perfected pure devotees association. But surely we will have some devotees around us who are much better than us. So when we serve them, what happens? When we serve them, and if they are pleased, when they are blissful, when they are happy by our service, they will bless us, by which at least we'll come to their level. At least we'll come to their level and experience what they're experiencing. And we will get that qualification slowly and steadily. And finally, by the mercy of the Lord, if His sweet will allows, we will get the association of a perfected pure devotee. So first step is intensely pray for the association of pure devotee. Second, the devotee should prepare himself to receive the mercy of that pure devotee by becoming humble, by becoming simple, by becoming plain and gentle. These are the words Prabhupada is using here. And then third, after we get the association of pure devotee, we have to serve that pure devotee with all our heart and soul. Finally, the fourth one. After we serve the pure devotee, the mercy of the pure devotee will flow through his instructions. We can read the purport to this verse, Bhaunam Janmanamante, that particular verse. You can read the purport. There, Prabhupada is writing, there or just one previous verse. There, Prabhupada is writing that what is the mercy of a guru? Sometimes devotee, especially in ISKCON, now when it comes to our spiritual masters, they're having thousands of disciples, and how can they give their personal attention to all of us? Obviously, they do within our heart, but when it comes to physical, it's very difficult. So when it comes to their mercy, when it comes to their blessings, how will we understand we have got it? There Prabhupada writes that the Guru's mercy is that he will teach us how to do devotional service. That is the mercy of a Guru. Not, he patting us at our back and he glorifying us. That's not the mercy. Prabhupada writes, the mercy of our Guru, spiritual master or a pure devotee is, he will teach us how to practice devotional service. And when the devotee is pleased, he will give instructions, and that is the mercy. And when we get the instruction, what are we supposed to do? Here Prabhupada writes, the fourth step to become a pure devotee should be, that devotee should be very much obedient and strictly follow the instructions. This is what he's writing. Strictly follow the instructions. Obedient and strictly follow the instructions. When it comes to Baddha-jivas like us, we are stuck in the cycle of birth and death. We have our own past samskaras. Material modes are there. For accepting firstly someone superior to us, taking his shelter, and then hearing the instructions and becoming obedient and following the instruction. Oh, it's a huge mountain in itself, not to cross. But then this is what is the way. This is what we are expected to do, right? That's what Prahlad Maharaj is saying. When Hiranyakashipu is asking that where are you learning all these things from? All the crap, where are you learning from? He's talking about devotional service. There he says, Naisha matistavadurukramangram prashatyanarthapagamo yadarthaha mahiyasam tatpadarajobhishekam nishkinchananam navrinita yavat. So he's saying that how can a person become a pure devotee? By taking bath in the dust of a pure devotee, of a nishkinchana bhakta, who has no material desires. That is a pure devotee he's talking about. By taking bath in the dust of the lotus feet of a devotee, we can become pure devotee. Now, I was hearing in one of the lecture of my Guru Maharaj, so he was saying that taking dust of the lotus feet of a devotee or taking bath in the dust of the lotus feet of a devotee doesn't mean that we take a bucket of water and scrape some dust which is there on the ground of the pure devotee and then mix it with the water and then take a bath of it. Okay, we can do that, well and good. But then, more important than that, or the actual meaning of taking bath in the dust of the lotus feet of a devotee is following the instructions given by that devotee. I'm sure all the seniors present here who have spent some time in Krishna consciousness, surely we might have realized that when we take any instruction of a pure devotee, and when we start following, automatically there will be empowerment. And automatically we'll see that there will be so much of change and transformation in our life. Just one instruction. The ones who have not tried, I would request that please try. When we hear Prabhupada lecture, and Prabhupada is giving some instruction, make a note of it and try to follow that instruction with complete heart and soul. Just one instruction. And just by following that one instruction, we will see that there will be a tremendous change in our life. Tremendous change. And that change is what will help us to be in bhakti throughout our life. Now, this is the hooking factor in devotional service. We'll be hooked to devotional service when we'll get some realizations, when our heart will be transformed, and when we'll experience that bliss, which we keep talking in our classes. Yes. So these are the 4 steps that Prabhupada is telling. First, pray intensely, seek for the association of pure devotees. Second, the devotee should himself prepare to become plain and gentle. Third, After we get the association of a pure devotee, what are we supposed to do? We have to serve that pure devotee with our complete heart and soul. And when we serve that devotee becomes pleased. He will shower his mercy by giving instructions. And the fourth point that Prabhupada gives is we should be very much obedient and strictly follow the instructions. These are the 4 steps to become pure devotee and to go back home back to God. And look at the purpose that Srila Prabhupada gives. Everything is there. Those people are fools who say that Prabhupada has not given us something. Prabhupada has given everything in a very, very systematic manner, point-wise. Especially, people like us, who are engineers of a background, it helps us a lot, point-wise, point 1, point 2, point 3. We can just note it and just follow one by one. All right. But then, one thing is there that we have to beg and pray intensely. Because these 4 points which we just said, it's not that easy. No, it's not that easy. To get taste in chanting, to get taste in devotional service, to get the association of pure devotee, all these are very, very difficult. But that devotee who cries for this, intensely prays for this, will surely get it. One of the very senior sannyasis, one of the senior disciples of Prabhupada, His Holiness Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj, he says that one who cries, he will attain Krishna. In Hindi, he says, Jo roya, vahi Bhagwan ko paya. So when we cry for this, that yes, I want a pure devotee in my life. I want to get taste in devotional service. I want to attain Krishna this very lifetime. When these prayers come from our heart and tears flow from our eyes, yes, now Krishna will surely shower his mercy by sending a pure devotee in our life and giving us taste in Krishna consciousness. I guess this is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's bhajan, where he says, very, very beautiful, one of my favorite. And I meditate on this before I start my chanting. So he's singing very nicely that O.A. Vaishnav Thakur bhajan. He says, Ekaki amar nahi paya bala harinama sankirtane. So here he's saying, the devotees praying intensely, that O Vaishnav Thakur, Ekaki amar, I alone, nahi paya bala, I don't have strength. For what? For harinama sankirtana, for doing devotional service, or chanting the holy names of the Lord. I don't have. Then he's telling what the devotee should do. He's saying, Tumhi kripa kori shraddha bindu diya deho Krishna namadhan. Oh Vaishnav Thakur, please be merciful unto me. Please give me one drop of your mercy by which I'll get taste in chanting the holy names of the Lord. And very intelligently, he's praying. He says in the last paragraph or last stanza, Krishna se tumara, Krishna dete paro, tumara shakti ache. So suppose that devotee is asking, how can I give you taste for devotional service? So this devotee is saying, Krishna se tumara, Krishna is yours. And then he says, Krishna dete paro, you can give me Krishna. And the devotee might say, no, why are you saying that? I don't think I can do that. Then the devotee is saying, Tumhara Shakati Ache, you have that strength to give me Krishna. And suppose the devotee says, okay, I agree with whatever you said, but then why should I give you? Why should I give you my mercy? Why should I give you Krishna? He says, Ami to Kangala Krishna Krishna Boli Daitava Pache Pache. Because I'm a beggar. I don't have Krishna. Only when you give me Krishna, oh pure devotee, oh Vaishnav Thakur, now then something will happen to me. I'll be able to attain Krishna. And suppose that devotee says, okay, if I don't give you Krishna, what will you do? He's saying, that Amito Kangal Krishna, Krishna Boli Dhaito Pache Pache. I'll just keep chanting Krishna, Krishna, and I'll just keep running behind you till you give me your mercy. This is that laulyam that I want Krishna. This is that laulyam. I want the mercy of a pure devotee. Yes. And with this mood, when we are praying, surely these 4 points that Prabhupada has given us in this purport will manifest very, very easily. And Prabhupada writes a very important point. He says that by the association of pure devotees only, one can get rid of all sins accumulated by mundane association. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that Tesham antagatam papam jananam punya karmanam dvanda te dvanda moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridavratah. If someone wants to practice pure devotional service with complete determination, that person should be free from the sins. And here Prabhupada is giving a solution. He says, by the association of pure devotees only, like Narada Muni got the association of Bhakti Vedantas, like that, by the association of pure devotee only, we can get rid of all the sins that we have accumulated by the mundane association. So like this, Prabhupada is giving us a step to become a pure devotee. And now it's our turn. It's our turn to reciprocate with Prabhupada's instructions by following it, by praying intensely to get the association of a pure devotee in our life who will actually help us to execute what Prabhupada is telling us here. Right? And tomorrow is that auspicious day, Gaura Purnima. Patita Pavan Avatar Sri Gaurhari appeared only to deliver all of us. Tomorrow we can pray, to Gaurhari that, oh Lord, oh Gauranga, I don't want anything. If you really want to give me something, please send me your own pure devotee, your own associate, who will actually teach me how to do devotional service and pull me back home, back to Godhead. Hey Patita Pavan, I don't have any qualification to attain your lotus feet this very lifetime. But your Patita Pavan, when you look at me, oh Patita Pavan, please deliver this Patita by sending your own pure devotee, by allowing me to serve that pure devotee. Yes. So tomorrow is that day. I request all of you all that please intensify your prayers tomorrow. Please offer these prayers and beg and pray to Sri Gauranga. Only by his mercy, yes, we can attain the ultimate destination. And obviously, if you're pleased with my little endeavor of the serving you all, please pray for me as well. So with this, I would like to pause here for today. If you have any questions, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Kartikeya Prabhu, for serving that wonderful class. Your enthusiasm in Krishna consciousness is oozing throughout the Zoom room, and we are very grateful for you coming here and serving. I learned so much. If anybody has any questions or comments, they may unmute themselves now and they may ask. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, thank you so much for the wonderful class. Your positive energy, your smile is contagious. Thank you for this wonderful start of Saturday morning, and thank you for spending your evening with us. My question is about the simplicity and humility as an important step of becoming a pure devotee. How do you simplicity and humility, you cannot fake it. How do you become a simple, and how do you attain humility?
Okay. That's a very wonderful question, $1 million question. How to become simple, how to become humble. I think I'm not the right person to answer. I'm a person who is always proud of of nothing. But what I've heard from my superiors, I will just repeat. To understand that what is our position, now that is a very, very important aspect to become humble and simple. First and foremost, what we need to do is we have to fix our goal. That our goal in life is to attain Krishna only. There is nothing other than this. There's no other goal apart from Krishna in my life. If we fix that goal, and when you start marching towards that goal, then with time, after spending good number of years in Krishna consciousness, we will realize, oh, that goal is very far, I cannot attain. And you know what? With that, we will understand why I'm not able to attain, because I'm full of anarthas. So much of lust and greed and anger, pride, jealousy, so much is there in my heart. All of them are jumping. And Krishna is so far from me. How will I be able to attain Krishna? So when we understand our goal and when we understand our situation, automatically we become very, very small. I mean, we become humble in our attitude. And then the prayer starts coming from our heart. Oh Krishna, I am nothing. See, In the Vaishnava bhajans, whenever acharyas are writing that, I wasted my life, right? Narottam Das Thakur is saying, such a great devotee. And he's telling that I wasted my life. I did not get any rati, any attachment to the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu. And then there's so many other devotees like Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying that, I have not attained Krishna. I have not got taste in the service of Krishna. Oh, the only personality whom I'll meet at the time of death is Yamaraj, he says in one of the bhajans. So in this way, we understand from these Vaishnava acharyas that how humbly they're praying, even when they're great devotees. And how that humility comes when we understand how great Krishna is. That's why, see, Prabhupada made it a point to write at every place, the supreme personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. You take up any purport, wherever Lord Sri Krishna's name comes, he says supreme personality of Godhead, right? So when we understand how supreme he is and how small we are, how he's Vibhu, his ocean, and how Anu, we are drops, then automatically we'll become humble in our behavior. And then now when we understand that, yes, I want to attain Krishna and I have no qualification, then all our duplicity will go away. Because we understand that Krishna likes simple people. He likes simple people, and only simple people can attain Krishna. Like we take example in Gaur Lila, tomorrow is Gaur Purnima. You see Sridhar Kolavecha, one of my favorite personalities in Gaur Lila. Kolavecha Sridhar, during Mahaprakash Lila, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was showering his mercy onto everyone, after giving mercy to many devotees, he said, get Sridhar Kolavecha. And the devotees were like, who is Sridhar? Who is Sridhar? And then Lord said that he is there in that place. You go to that place, you'll hear a loud chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Get him. And when these devotees went to get him, that Sridhar who was there, he said that why you people have come here? And the devotee said, Lord Chaitanya is calling you. And with complete humility, and so much of simplicity, Sridhar, he started saying, I am not qualified to come to that assembly. I cannot come. And finally, the devotees had to literally lift him and they took him there. So the point is, only when we fix our goal, only Krishna, I want to attain Krishna this very lifetime, and this goal is fixed properly, everything else will manifest. We'll understand the supremacy of Krishna, we'll understand our fallen state, and then then we'll start aspiring to do what Krishna likes. He likes simple people, so we'll try to become simple. And understanding our state will become humble. Right? So in this way, Mataji, in this way, we can try to fix the goal, and that will actually do the rest. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Prabhuji, that is a wonderful answer, recommendation, advice, and guidance. Thank you.
Thank
you.
Thank you. Yeah, this Hari Prabhu is telling, Narottam Das Thakur says, why did I not die long time ago? Yes. Yes.
Hare Krishna, does anybody else have any other questions? Or I have a question as well. So, Prabhu, I really loved today's talk, and I was just had a comment and a question, and you were saying how difficult it is for to get rid of Maya and attach to Krishna, cross over the ocean of Bhavasagara, of crossing that ocean. So I was remembering one class by His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj, and then so he asked, Giriraj Maharaj always had this rule within himself that he would never ask a question he didn't already know the answer to Srila Prabhupada. So he would never ask Srila Prabhupada a question that he didn't know the answer to. Because sometimes when we think of questions, we already know the answer, but we're just looking for reconfirmation. But so Giriraj Maharaj asked Srila Prabhupada, Maya's giving me so much trouble, she's very, very hard to cross over for me. And then Prabhupada says, for you, he is hard to cross over. Just tell her how strong Krishna is. If don't tell there was a saying, that don't tell how big your problems are. Tell your problems how big Krishna is. So for Krishna, I think there's even that verse that if you surrender under the lotus feet of Krishna, the ocean of birth and death becomes as small as a a puddle of a hoof print of a calf. There's that verse. So that was my comment. And question is, this may get very technical, so please forgive me. But in the purport of the 29, there was this mention of pseudo devotees, of surrendering onto pseudo devotees. And in Rupa Goswami's Nectar Instruction, it's mentioned that one should not be critical of anybody, especially the devotees. But it seems to me, to discern between the devotees and the non-devotees, we have to have the critical mind that discriminatory mind, that we need to know what's false and what's not, what's not right and what's right. So I was thinking also that even when Lord Chaitanya was addressing the devotees of Katwa, he was making the discrimination between Kanishta, Madhyama, and Uttama Adhikari. But we can still make offenses if we're critical to see the Kanishta Adhikaris, because they are technically in a devotee, because the Prabhupada said if they chant Hare Krishna once, they're immediately up to the position of Kanishta. So I'm wondering how to find out if we're actually following a pure devotee or a pseudo devotee without actually using our criticizing tendency or fault finding tendency.
Actually, purposely, I didn't cover this point. It was there in my notes that I was sure someone would ask that how to know that I'm following a pure devotee, and Hari Pro, you asked. See, one of the important point, which we have understood and from our superiors, and also some realizations, is it's not about to check if the devotee is qualified or not. When we are following someone, it's not about we checking them, if they are qualified or not. The important question here is that am I qualified to get a pure devotee? Is my desire very clear to attain Krishna or not? Am I really interested to do Kevala Bhakti or not? So these are the questions which we need to ask, because Prabhupada is very clear. Till the point, the people who want to get cheated are there, cheaters will be available. Right? So if we are cheating ourselves by having some other desire than Krishna, attaining Krishna, then automatically, Krishna will send someone who will fulfill that desire of ours. One of the important point which we can meditate here is Krishna's statement in Bhagavad Gita 15:15. Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishtaha. See, Krishna is there in everyone's heart, and he knows what is our desire. So Krishna consciousness is a very, very foolproof method. So when Prabhupada is saying we have to get association of a pure devotee, so if we just intensely desire that I want to attain Krishna, and for that I really need an association of pure devotee, Krishna being the Paramatma in the heart of ours and in the heart of that pure devotee will direct that pure devotee to our place. Yes. Sometimes, few devotees, they've asked this question before also, that currently the devotee whom I am under, I'm not very much satisfied. I'm not sure if he's a pure devotee. Okay, that's okay. Maybe, as of now, we don't have that qualification to get, a pure devotee in our life who is much better than the devotee who is there, with us now. Right? So important point is, am I qualified or not? If I'm qualified, Krishna will surely send a pure devotee. There is no question about that. Right? And he will give the necessary realizations to understand if he's a pure devotee or not. So this point, is a very, very important point to meditate on. That am I qualified to get a pure devotee or not? And what is that qualification? If I need a pure devotee, it means I should have a desire to do pure devotional service. And what is pure devotional service? Kevala Bhakti. Kevala Bhakti means I want to attain Krishna, I want to serve Krishna only. This word only is very important. So if we get that desire, intense desire, automatically understanding our intense desire of doing Kevala Bhakti, Krishna will send a pure devotee. Right? And automatically he'll give us that understanding, that realization that this personality is that personality whom I can take shelter of. And when there's no question of pseudo devotee at all, when it comes to the a devotee having one pointed focus to attain Krishna, because Krishna will protect that devotee. See, Prabhupada writes in one of the purport, one of very, very amazing line. He says more than the devotee going back to Godhead. Krishna wants the devotee to come back to Godhead. Right? So if a devotee is desiring to go back to Godhead, why will Krishna deviate him in some other direction? He will protect that devotee in all the possible ways. So there's no question of pseudo devotee, when a person is qualified. Then here we understand that there's no need of making a distinction of yes, am I under a pure devotee or not, or whatever. This question, which I ask myself, is am I qualified to get a pure devotee? And yes, if I'm a Madhyam Adhikari, yes, I can differentiate when I'm preaching that yes, Ishvara, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then the innocent ones, the envious ones, the devotees of the Lord. Then I can differentiate like that. Hope this answers your question, Prabhu.
Yes, that really helps, Prabhu. But in the case of Narada Muni did not. It's mentioned. We went over the verses last week that Narada Muni did not expressly want the association of the Bhaktivedantas. He just happened to be there at the right place at the right time. So how do we explain that he wasn't seeing that they were qualified? Neither was he wanting to associate that, but his mother kind of engaged him. So how do we explain that?
So here comes the concept of Agyata Sukriti. That's what has happened here. Obviously, Narada Muni's previous life was Gandharva, where he was glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he was doing various other things, and just he did some mistake, and then he was cursed to become the maidservant's son. But then one thing is very clearly mentioned even in Bhagavad Gita, that wherever devotee leaves, from that point he will start. Right. So where he left in the previous life, before that curse, he's starting from that point, where he's getting a chance to associate with pure devotees and glorify the Lord, without any other deviation at this time. So that's what I'm saying. Krishna is such a loving personality that if he sees that yes, this devotee has done some devotional service, he will give all opportunity to that devotee to go back to Godhead. I saw one nice a quote of Srila Prabhupada, not quote, a photo of Srila Prabhupada. I guess that was photoshopped or something, but it was nice. Where Prabhupada is on a morning walk, he's having a stick and morning walk, and many disciples are walking, and there's one person just on the side on a bench, he's just resting. Yes. Looking at that, it was like amazing, right? It's like the opportunity is there, but that person is not ready to utilize that opportunity. Similarly, when it comes to a devotee, Lord personally wakes him up. Are bhai, you have to do this. You left it here. Now you have to go to the next level. And you look at Narada Muni's situation, how wonderful it is that this boy, very, very small, very young, and not having any maturity, what did he do? He just had remnants of the pure devotees. And pure devotees just showered his mercy, and this person got purified completely to such an extent that he was one pointed focus, and he went to forest and finally attained Krishna. So the point is, here comes the role of Lord Sri Krishna, where he sees that yes, this devotee's desire, in various lifetimes or whatever, and he is very much eager to get the devotee back. How? And now, suppose someone might ask, but how does it start? How does it start? How does Agyat Sukriti start? Yadrichaya. It's Lord's mercy, causeless mercy, which we cannot understand the causes. Yes. So that's Lord's mercy. But then this is very clear that once it starts, Krishna is the one who will push and push and push. Finally, the person reaches back home, back to Godhead. Right. So that's what has happened. You see in Prabhupada's Leelamrit also, I forgot the name of that devotee. He says that I was going to go to another direction, and I came in a direction where Prabhupada was there. So Krishna directs everyone. Krishna directs everyone. So this is what I would say, that Krishna in the heart of a devotee, he is pushing every devotee step by step by step, to attain Krishna this very lifetime. Hope this helps you, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu, this answered my question well. I think you're that I'm sorry to play devil's advocate, but that was a very thought out answer. I think that pastime that you're referring to about Prabhupada's disciple, I think it happened to many people, but I can only remember Mukunda Datta Prabhu from Vrindavan, the Prabhupada disciple. He was, it's very amazing. He was telling me that he was like 14 or 15, you know, riding his bike down the neighborhood in Los Angeles. And then he just happened to ride his bike past he was a kid, you know, he was a kid riding his bike, and he happened to pass by the Watseka Avenue Temple in Los Angeles, and he saw the devotees. And then at the age of 15 or something, he joined the temple and he became a brahmachari, you know. So imagine like if he would have taken a different path, you know, riding his bike, you know, kids ride their bikes. So it's a completely, I mean, Agyata Sukriti does have a great effect, you know. So thank you for that answer. Does anybody else have any other questions? I see Alec Prabhu, Abhishek Prabhu, Onkar Joshi Prabhu, Jenish Prabhu, Naeem Prabhu, Radhika Mataji, Raghunath Sharan Prabhu. Does anybody else have any questions for Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I just want to thank Kartikeya Prabhu for wonderfully summarizing the purport. It was very nice. Like, in the beginning, you said that how it is so difficult to understand and attain Krishna, and then you brought these 4 points on how one can become pure devotee and by serving pure devotee as well. So that was very, very nice. I was having questions while you were explaining the purport, and then you were answering it at the later part of the purport. So I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hope to hear from you again soon in future. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Does anybody else have any other questions? Okay. Raghunath Charan Prabhu, did you unmute your mic? Oh, well. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Prabhuji.
Jenish Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
No question, but something that I picked up from Prabhuji's class today. Myself, I can talk about a fallen soul. We rather than engaging in someone's service, you want others to serve you. For example, just being a married person, you want your wife to serve you, your kids to serve you, and if and then only there is this reciprocation of love. Without service, you can't love someone. Someone is not giving you something, why would you give something to someone? Typical mentality of a fallen soul. But Prabhuji summarized very nicely. When you identify a guru, or are trying to purely engage in their service, it's just not having a guru and then just following the instruction, but having that intent and the pure heart to serve. And it won't be that right away that someone would praise you, and then just it will, you have to, it's more of like a seed. You'll have to nurture it. And then whenever the guru thinks the time is right, that's when you'll attain the mercy that you were seeking or aspiring for. But that at times even having a guru and serving for some time, and then you are trying to have that expectation, I think we shouldn't have that right away, or probably not have it at all, because it just shows you still that that desires are deep rooted within you, and you are aspiring for something within your heart, and not actually trying to serve purely with unconditionally, I would say. So thank you very much, Prabhuji. That was really an eye-opener.
Thank you. Don't worry, Prabhu, we are in the same boat.
Well, I'm still less far away boat than you, Prabhuji, but I'm learning and just listening from souls like you.
Very nice point, Prabhu. The point that you made is really wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a really great point of last week it was my opportunity to serve the Srimad Bhagavatam class, and we were discussing on the point of Vapu and Vani, of And then we were saying the examples that we've had in our movement that we see, you know, when the spiritual master comes in the building or something, then we act right. But when the spiritual master is not there, or the senior devotee is not there, we just kind of relax, you know, and we're very, very sad. But that's not the actual mood of devotional service. But so I like that. I even put it in the chat box that the mercy of the Guru is that he will teach us how to practice devotional service. I really like that. I think that's so important now and nowadays when gurus have many thousands of disciples and we may not have much sangha. I think that's such an important thing to remember. I think we are our time is up for today, but we could go on speaking like this for hours and hours for so long. But we would like to thank Kartikeya Prabhu for coming and serving the Srimad Bhagavatam class. We just request Kartikeya Prabhu that every time he comes and speaks with us, his speaking opportunities at ISKCON Columbus should multiply. That he should definitely come back again and serve the Srimad Bhagavatam class again. Is that okay, Prabhu?
My pleasure, Prabhu. My pleasure to accept your invitation and serve the Srimad Bhagavatam class.
Thank you. Columbus devotee. Columbus devotees love the class, and we sincerely like to thank everybody for joining. And today we have a monthly Sankirtan festival where we go out and distribute Prabhupada's books. So this was a great start to our morning. And tomorrow is the day of Gaur Purnima, and we can meditate on the pastimes of Lord Caitanya and hopefully reach the pure devotion that Kartikeya Prabhu has spoken about today in the Bhagavatam class. So everybody can give can unmute themselves and give 3 big Haribols. Haribol!
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 Thank you.
Kartikeya Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
We will end with Vaishnava Pranam. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam apavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.